It's time for another garden update. I'll do a quick walk by the garden. Hot weather's been kind of hanging on here. Everything's still doing pretty well overall. Just a few corn stalks left. That banana tree, it's getting up there, trying to hide the shed. Now let's go around and talk about a few things. Believe it or not, we're still picking cucumbers off that cucumber cage. I planted 4 Marketmore 76 in there. While we're talking about cucumbers, I'll just walk back here and show you the ones in the later ones in this cage. Hopefully they have time to produce. I think they will. I have a different type. I don't remember the name of it, but it's starting to get some female blooms on it, so it won't be long we'll be getting some cucumbers off of it. Then right next to those cucumbers, in this cage I planted some, or around the cage I planted some pole beans, and they're really getting a lot of blooms on them. Hopefully we have time to get some harvests off of those before it freezes, but they're growing very well. This one even out of the top of the cage. So I think they're liking the weather we're having recently anyway. Right behind the pole beans in the cage are some ginger that I have growing. And some of those are getting very close to waist high. They're really growing well. And then we have some right next to them that were planted a little bit later, but they're way behind size-wise. Let me show you the bottom of these plants. You can kind of see how they spread in a straight line. This one over here is doing the best, it looks like. It looks like we got little fungus growing there at the bottom. As you can see here, we're getting quite a bit of color on some of the peppers. That first one's a Zabri, then that Trinidad Perfume. And that Brazilian starfish is finally getting quite a bit of color. Let's get over there and take a closer look. Here's a look at up underneath the savory. Some of the peppers on it. I just did a little taste test on those. I'll be posting it in the next few weeks. I'm not sure when. And this is the Trinidad Perfume. It's got quite a few peppers. And right next to it is the Brazilian starfish. It's got lots of color on it too, and just look at all the green ones it has on it, and just covered with peppers. It's amazing how many. And right next to it is the ahi pineapple, and it's getting quite a bit of color down next to the ground. I'll be picking some of those very soon. The ahi mango's kind of behind, and so is the lemon back there by the fence. Way back here by the fence we have one of the hybrids that I grew this year, and it kind of starts out looking a little bit like an Odor with the yellow color, and then they changed to a purple. I don't have any of the purple phase because I sampled one of those yesterday to see if it was hot or not, and it had very mild heat. And then this one I'm going to save seeds from. So they go from, well, very similar color to the Odas, except it has some mild heat, and that's kind of what I'm shooting for. So this is going to be the one, I think. Some of you might remember the squash back by the fence. As you can see, that vine looks dead, but if we follow it, it took root over here somewhere. There's some live leaves here. Then it crawled all the way over into this cucumber cage. Let's get over here, take a look. So I noticed yesterday that we have some little squash growing. So this thing is going to produce some more. I don't know if it was the squash vine borer that got to it or what, but it crawled along the ground and kept going. So we'll get a few more of those. I have a couple of Shishito peppers here on this plant I'm going to save seeds from. Then we have a bunch more I need to pick. And we just cooked some of those a couple of days ago, and they turned out very well. We really enjoyed them. All I did was heat them on the stove for about 10 minutes in some olive oil. Then I took them off, put a little salt on them, and they were really good. While we're over here by the Shishito, I looked over. Tanya said she picked some cucumber yesterday, but looks like we've got several up the top there that are ready to pick. And I see another one back inside the cage, so we've got a few more that are ready to pick today, and hopefully about the time it completely goes kaput, well, there's some little ones over there. But if it ever gives up, we'll hopefully be starting to get some from these over here. I should have staked up this Sugar Rush peach a long time ago, but I didn't. So we have lots of peppers that you can't see. It's crazy loaded. I just did sample some of those. On these I found that sometimes you can eat way out on the end without getting into the seeds and placenta, and you can get a full flavor without getting much heat. But if you accidentally get into the seeds or that placenta, you'll know it in a hurry. We're still picking quite a few Odors. Looks like we have some insect damage to that one, but as you can see, we got plenty more to pick soon. And there's still lots of them sitting on. I just love these little peppers. They're just very productive, good tasting little peppers. And the albino bullnose are coming on pretty well too. The Mexican sunflowers back here by the bananas look pretty bad. I cut about 1.5 feet off of those the other day, so they haven't had time to come back with more blooms yet, but hopefully that'll help kind of rejuvenate them. I see lots of smaller blooms. Let me get out of the sun here. I try to get out here early and get some video before the sun gets up too high. As you can see, the sweet potato vines are kind of sprawling everywhere. They've been doing that for a while. But I just harvested some Beauregard from a container. I guess our Beauregard sweet potato harvest wasn't too bad, but it could have been a lot better, I think. If you haven't seen that video, I'll post a link down in the description. This little variegated rose of Sharon is really coming on late. I'm hoping it'll take off next year. It's starting to show some pretty good signs of growth now, but it just kind of sat here most of the year. And it's really looking good late. I noticed a ping tongue down here. I think we might just cook that one up today, maybe with a rosita or two. I've been trying to do a few taste test videos, and that might just fit in with our plans. I keep having to pull back the sweet potato vines, and I was pulling back some. I'll just show you. For those of you who have never grown sweet potatoes, this one got up against a straw bale, and they start to form roots very easily. And they'll do the same thing along the ground. Everywhere they touch, they'll make new roots and spread their vines that way. And there's some more Odors while we're here. Of the dwarf tomatoes that I grew this year, the Serendipity has hung on the longest. It's still got quite a few tomatoes on it. I need to restake those. One of them completely fell over. Here's the one that fell over. It's got some suckers down at the bottom. They're looking pretty good, really. I don't know if they'd have time to produce anything, but this one has outlasted the rest of them. We have one tomato back here behind the shed that's starting to get some color on it. Then we have a bunch of green ones that still have time to ripen, I think. I badly neglected these back behind the shed. They've just been back here. I haven't watered them or anything, but they've just been wanting to grow. I started tying them up, but I stopped doing that a while back. So they've been badly neglected, but looks like they're still going to produce a crop. This Voluntary okra in the side yard is also wanting to produce. This Mexican sunflower back by the fence is at least 7 feet tall, probably a little over. And I hope to get these old sunflowers, worn out sunflowers, removed here soon. Still have lots of work to do, just doing a little at a time. I just noticed these little okra back here. I have one that has an okra on it, and I can recognize that one by the looks of it. This one is a Texas Hill Country Red. This goji berry looks terrible right now, but it's producing lots of berries. She's been putting those on her salads. I don't care for them that way, but she likes them. This is why we have been getting a lot of pumpkins setting on. Lots of little pollinators. He's still down in there. Sometimes they get in a fight. It's September 2nd when I'm taking this clip. And we still have a few flowers on our hibiscus, but not all that many. Even though we have some buds that still have yet to bloom. So we'll be enjoying these for a little while longer. But earlier they looked much better than this. That's a look at our garden in early September. Let us know how your garden's doing. And don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't yet. We'll see you next time.